wow.
Okay, we've got these nice T-shirts on too. Look at this. This is the seminar T-shirt from Husaria Dojo of Jan Radek Ambroziak in Szczecin in Poland. And this was the seminar T-shirt. As you can see, it's taken off the book. It's a beautiful T-shirt. And this one here is a gift to Mitch. I got one too from Shihan Mac Robertson.
Well, thank you so much, Shihan. Very, very kind of you. I appreciate it greatly.
And have a look at the back too. I've got to show you the back. I had to add a kanji. See that? So there's a saying, Nana korobi aoki, 7 times down, 8 times up. The reason I wanted to show the back, there's a thing in Japanese called yoji jukugo. Yoji jukugo, which means 4 kanji idioms or 4 kanji proverbs. 4 character combinations that come up with a nice saying. For example, such as life 7 times down, 8 times up. Or one of Sosai's favorite was hito ase, hito kome. 1 drop of sweat, 1 grain of rice. And for him, that meant that if he didn't train, he didn't eat. And so if he wanted to eat more, he had to train more.
Very cool.
Yeah, so the Yoji Jukugo are really, there's a great, there's hundreds of them. Today what we're going to do is just have a brief session, and we want to look at the connection between Shuto Mawashi Uke, and Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. Now, the reason I think it's really beautiful is because I spent a lot of time in Europe working this concept of the 2 hands. Kyokushin has a reputation of being a hard style of karate, but it's in the technical sense of the word, it's not a hard style, it's a soft style. It's just soft style that trains very hard. That's the difference. The main way to delineate between a hard style of karate, soft style of karate, is it hard linear or is it circular? And as you know, Sosai was adamant about the concept of circle and point, and Kyokushin had a lot of circular motion in it. And if you've only got to watch tournament fighters and see how much circular movement they have. You had Ashihara and Sabaki karate. They both they broke away from Kyokushin, and primarily all they did was highlight the circular motion within Kyokushin. So they made that a highlight. It was pretty smart marketing, really, because they call it Sabaki karate and so on. But in Japanese, if you're at a tournament, listening to the guys, the cornermen, they're going sabaite, sabaite. Sabaite means sabaku, means to turn around, move off to the side. So Kyokushin has a lot of this circular motion, probably more so than many other styles which have a reputation for being a hard style. Okay, so Kyokushin is very much a soft style, very much focused on the large circular motion, even the Mawashi Uke. Well, I'm guessing that the Goju style is a little bit smaller, but Kyokushin, they do a large style, mainly to encourage people to understand those large circular motions. The primary thing is this idea of connecting the hands. So we have Pinan 2, we have Pinan 4, we have the traditional style of Kanku kata, Kanku dai, where the hands, in some styles, it comes up like this. Okay, in Kyokushin, it goes like that, but Sosai said that's a Gokuya hidden technique. In actual fact, it wants to come up. When you connect the 2 hands, I'm in here, I don't want trouble, sir, things start to fly. When I start to try and stab and do things with one hand at a time, that's when you get caught. Just keep the hands moving together, going like this, moving away, and then you can start to get control of the arms and so on. And this is why Pinan 2 has this idea when they come in, boom, I'm hitting, and you go here, Pinan 2, 1, 3, and this sort of thing. 1, 2, crack there. So that's Pinan 2, 1, 2, go here as well. The whole concept of the 2 hands staying together is very powerful. It's very, very traditional, but Sosai was very adamant about it. You watch a lot of his stuff, and a good illustration of that is the kata garyu, which Sosai created. Now, if anyone is asked to create a kata of their own, you can be fairly certain they're going to put elements in it that are important to them. Okay? And in Kanku, in Garyu, in the Garyu kata Sosai created, there's a lot of 2-handed movements like this, where they're coming up and they're going two hands, and they're keeping their hands together in this fashion. And that's because this concept of two hands together here, Pinan 2, Pinan 4, Kanku, very important Sosai. Okay, now we also have Mawashi Uke, Shuto Mawashi Uke, and Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. And they're all a family, they're all related. What Sosai taught in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, and probably towards the 90s, they're very different. So, of course, people who train with Sosai in the 50s will say, well, no, that's not what he taught. But my theory is that I trained with Sosai in the 70s and the 80s, and I know that there was a progression. For example, at some stage during those years, Gedanbara was done like this. Other times, it was done like this. And other times, it was done like this. Okay? So it just depends what Sosai was working on or thinking of at the time. So in terms of the circular motion, let's just say someone comes to punch or grab from the side. Here, see that? The large motion here, the most important thing that Sosai said is you've got to cover your neck. This is where the danger is. You've got to cover your head and neck. So it's no good going here and doing a block or something. And if I miss the block and he punches my lights out because I've missed, okay? So what I needed to do is work on the idea of covering this part here. There. So if I think of that, look, Pinan 2, Pinan 4, Pinan 2, and Shuto Mawashi Uke, and Enkei Gyaku Tsuki, and if you like, again here, when you punch from this, when I'm doing the Mawashi Uke in terms of not just here, where I'm grabbing, but also where I'm actually covering up against anything that could come, well then the motion becomes much bigger. So now the motion becomes like that. Mawashi Uke, large circle to cover this part of the neck. See that? The neck is covered. Pull it in to here. Of course, when you, as you know from Kihon, the large techniques in Kihon, become the small techniques in actual fighting. Okay, Mawashi Uke, large. Shuto Mawashi Uke, so I used to say, bring it all the way vertical and then drop it. So you see here, this is the danger part. The whole idea that he throws a punch and I'm blocking it with this hand doesn't make sense because it's the wrong range. Okay? If anything, I'm blocking it with this hand. But the other thing I'm doing is, that's not the blocking point. Here's the blocking point there. And then I'm coming down. Now it starts to make sense. The Shuto Mawashi Uke, I'm just like, I don't know what he's going to do. Boom! And then the hand comes up. And then I can come in and continue on with the next. Also, Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. Once again, in a lot of dojos when they practice Enkei Gyaku Tsuki, the hand is at the point of, so the punch comes, and they work on the idea that this is the block. Because that doesn't make sense. Mitch is not going to punch from there. Yeah, he might kick me from there. What he's going to do is punch me from there. Okay? So when I'm working it, there's the block. There's the block. There's the grab. And there's the punch in like that. So that's the Enkei Gyaku Tsuki that makes sense. Boom. And brings it in. So I'm here, attack comes, boom, there. I need it. If I don't block it, that's what's going to hit me. So the hand comes up here, see, and that covers it. And then I can drop down here. This is really beautiful. Do, drop up there, tweak the elbow, or grab, pull him in. So there we have the connection as a family of techniques. Mawashi Uke, Shuto Mawashi Uke, and Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. And they're all because of the importance of the circle and point, where you're not actually blocking with the hand at the point, you're blocking by dissecting or bisecting a line with a circle. So there's one interpretation of the circle, and the point is at the point where you block the technique. And Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. Enkei Gyaku Tsuki literally means circular reverse punch. Enkei, you draw a circle. Enkei, N is a circle. Enkei, a circular shape. Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. So the circular shape and the reverse punch. Mawashi Uke is turning or circular block. Shuto Mawashi Uke is just a designation to differentiate the two techniques. You can't call them both Mawashi Uke, it creates confusion. So what Sosai did was he called it Shuto Mawashi Uke. Unlike the hard styles like Shotokan, where this technique comes out straight and it's called Shito Uchi. It's a strike. Boom, they're like that. Kyokushin is very much circular. So there's a little bit of a difference, very important difference.
Well, Shian, I remember Shian Pete Collis telling me a story not long ago about when he was working security indoors and people would be crazy on the drink or whatever, and he had a different name, just an Aussie name for it, but it was the two-handed technique together. He would always two hands together. He said that works so well working doors. So I thought that's a great practical example of it.
You need to have this idea that when you're in a street fight, for example, and guys are sneaky. They don't have to train martial arts to be sneaky. They're sneaky because they realize that to achieve their end in mind, they've got to be a bit tricky. And so as soon as when they're sneaky, they'll divide your hands. They'll get one hand going down, one hand going up. Next thing you know, you get hit. So the whole idea of being able to keep the hands up and down and moving in circles like this, it really works. And even when you're doing this sort of thing, when you're blocking head punches, and you leave your hands and you're bringing the hands in like this, the whole concept of maintaining connection to the hands.
And in those moments too, Shian, in that range where you're bringing that up, it's in the grappling ranges 4 and 5. Obviously, you want to protect here and protect here. Now, I know doing this, we're leaving this open, but in that moment, you're doing this, so you're protecting your neck and chin in that motion. So you're actually protecting those grappling ranges as well, which is interesting.
So in the concept of grappling, there are 5 fundamental areas that you need to get control of. The first one is between the legs here. If I can get control of someone and get inside that leg there, well, now I have control of his body. The other next ones are under the armpits here, and then here, and then here. So if I can get a good collar tie there, that's pretty hard to deal with, okay? But if I go to throw a punch and he blocks it, well, of course I have this exposure, but he's not believing his arm. He's going, boom, now I'm in trouble, okay? Because there, by bringing, and even when you're not punching in grappling, when he goes to collar tie, look, I'm doing this shrug. So I'm here, boom, and I'm shrugging there so I can pull the arm off like that. Come in here, work here, boom, and you can start to take down. And you notice, boom, I need to protect this area. There, see that? I come in here, and I have control here, and go heavy, etc., etc. What we're getting at is we have these control points, and this control point is really solid. Yes, and if he throws a punch at that point, I'm not going to do what you do in wrestling. Boom, I have to protect it large. It also allows, even before he has a chance to withdraw his hand here and come into the underhook, boom, I get the overhook here, and I can manipulate the elbow like that. Of course, you can't protect everything all at the same time. Even the art of war says that all fighting is deception. If you're a Kyokushin instructor, it's really valuable to know the connection between Shuto Mawashi Uke, and Enkei Gyaku Tsuki. The most important thing is protecting this area here. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.